Warning: the opinions expressed on this particular podcast are the opinions of the hosts and the guests alone. They do not represent the Army, the police, or anything else. Simply our opinions, no one else's. Thank you and enjoy before I forget.
Hey, Tyree.
Hey, what's up?
You have a podcast, right?
Yeah, I have a podcast. It's called Before I Forget. It's on every Monday and Thursday morning.
Did you know about Anchor?
Yeah, I know about Anchor. That's what we use to distribute our podcast.
Did you know that it has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer?
Yeah, I knew about all that stuff, and we use it every single time for every single show for editing, right on our phone and right from our computer.
Did you know you can distribute your podcast on different listening platforms?
Yeah, we knew about that. We use Anchor to distribute our podcast to Apple Music, Spotify, and tons of other different platforms everywhere across the world.
Did you know that Anchor is free?
I knew it was free because if I had to pay to use stuff, I wouldn't use it.
Hey everybody, this is Tyree and this is Before I Forget. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you've already subscribed and you've shared, so every time that we put out new content, it comes to you automatically. Today's episode, we're going to talk to Richard Youngblood. He was a part of our unit with Bravo 126 from 2nd Platoon on over to headquarters. We had a good time talking to him, catching up, tell some good stories about the terrors of being a 50 cal gunner through RPG Alley and some of the reasons why he joined the military, and also being a family man in the military during deployment. Once again, thanks for listening. Please like, listen, subscribe, share, and thank you for hanging out with us.
Hey.
Howdy.
Hey. Long time no talk.
I don't know what the fuck's going on here, man. How are you doing?
Oh,
we're back now.
Okay, there you
Yes.
are. What in the hell?
Man, I don't know. I had a phone call come through or something somehow. When I declined the phone call, it shut everything down.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing, man. You got to put a sign up on the door that says baiting. Do not enter.
Sorry. Anyways, where I left off on my story there.
Well, you got
we gotta start over.
What'd y'all do here? Okay. Well,
yeah. So let's from the top. So and don't worry, man, because like Tyree will edit this out, but like we'll just start like from like the normal banter, and like we'll make the incest joke again, and then we'll all laugh about it because it was probably like a really funny joke, you know what I mean? And then
I got you.
And then so like what was that? So what were you doing before the Army?
I was not doing anything, man. I was just sitting around a senior in high school, and I just remembered a lot of time my grandmother had shown me pictures and things of my grandfather in his World War II time and all the time that he spent in service, and he'd got a lot of medals and done a lot of pretty cool high-speed stuff, man. That's what I wanted to do.
Do you know what unit he was in or anything like that?
I do not. I've tried to trace his steps, and right when the Army did the whole digital switchover thing, there was so many thousands of records that never got switched into digital, and my grandfather's were one of them. So we never.
Oddly enough, like my stepdad, I know we talked about it in the last episode, but like my stepdad was in the Army back in the early '60s, and his records, obviously this is before digital, right? But his records, I guess the place where they kept the records in like St. Louis or something went up in flames, and so
burnt down.
Yeah. So his 214, his discharge papers, and all that stuff was completely lost until a couple years ago. I think it was the Social Security office was able to track it down for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when we had his funeral, we were able to do military honors. I got to be part of the flag detail for him, presented to my mom.
Awesome.
So
That's an
that,
honor, man.
but yeah, man, it really was terribly sad. But like
Yes.
definitely like probably one of the highest honors I've ever had in my life. But like, that may be a route that you could look into is trying to track it down through them.
Yeah, I'll try that. I'll definitely check that out. Me too.
Yeah,
But
because I
yeah,
mean,
his
like,
records were
yeah,
his records went up in those flames, and his was some that never got to get transferred into digital. So the only thing we ever had of him is what my grandmother personally had was the show was, and that was it. And all it was awards, and he didn't even have award letters, certificates, or nothing. He had his little spot of medals on his uniform and a few pictures, and that was it. And the
Damn.
stories that he told her. So that's really
So
what we got out of it.
your family life inspired your joining the military.
Oh, oh yeah, for sure. My uncle, I had two uncles that went to Vietnam, and they were proud of it. They went and did their stint, undrafted. They volunteered to go. And
Right on.
imagine thinking about Vietnam and not being drafted and volunteering to go to that place.
yeah,
We didn't have any idea when I like kind of like y'all was. I had no idea we were going to combat. I signed up high school. I was getting out of this little bodunk town to make something of my life, and the Youngblood last name is not the greatest last name in this county by any means. And I had to get away from that, and because I was stereotyped like everybody else was. So I did, and I actually went to MEPS on September 11th, 2001, the day the towers got hit.
really.
I was actually in transit to leave and go to Fort Benning, Georgia that day.
Damn.
And I went into MEPS and sworn in for our last time, and it was about 7:15 in the morning. And all of a sudden, we're sitting in the waiting room waiting for our bus to get here. And the station commander comes up and flips on the TV and just kind of says, "Everybody, look here." We look around. This is all logistics. Everything's been shut down. And he turns around, looks at me, and said, "You, my friend, are the only one that's joined the infantry. So you're probably going to war. You folks have 48 hours to go back home and tell your family members goodbye. You love them. You never know when you'll see them again, and report back." So that's what I did. And September 13th, 2001 is when I shipped off to basic training. 30th AG, let me reframe that.
Oh
And how
yeah.
long were you sitting at 30th?
Oh, God, it was like 4 weeks, man. It was at 30th AG. There was people
Really?
everywhere. Yeah, I was there for like 4 weeks, man. It was
Dude,
ridiculous.
Griff and I were there for I mean just under 2 weeks, man. And that was I remember writing letters home to like my parents and my siblings and being like, this, I don't know
Yeah.
why I joined. This is miserable. I hate it. You know what I mean? Regretting life. You know what I mean?
Well,
I could
if you
not
think about
imagine
it,
sitting there.
You know how much
Sarge
weight
is
I
a
gained
damn
sitting there?
yeah. You could eat
Yeah.
everything.
Oh,
They
yeah,
made me
dude.
eat double hamburgers every day for every meal, damn near, except lunch, except
Because you were
breakfast.
scrawny, man.
Yeah,
You were scrawny, Ty. Yeah.
I mean, it worked out.
But no, that's pretty much what I did. I went to Echo 119. I was at Easy Echo is what they called 119 back in my day. But we went to
Back in
man, I went
19 ticketed too.
Back in my
but
day.
but I got to you guys in Germany in 126, Great Blue Spaders there, and I guess it was in February of 02.
So
And right
Okay.
before we,
right at the end of the field, right? Did you come out to the
yes,
field
right
with
at the
us?
end of, actually, no, I come at the very last week of the field rotation y'all was in.
Okay.
And y'all come in as I was in processing. And then, I mean, I was trying to get command sponsor because I had a high school sweetheart. I was married at the time, which is a divorce now, by the way, but I had to get her
That's
command
neither here
sponsored.
nor there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I had to bring her there and get her command sponsored, so I had to do all that. And by the time I
I
got that
remember you
done,
dealing with that shit. It was a fucking nightmare, kinda.
I was in there, dude. I had 2 weeks. We were deploying out to Kosovo. I didn't have no training with the unit. I didn't know nobody. So my big bonding time with all y'all was Kosovo, man. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the greatest time of my life. I love that place.
Really?
Besides Samar, don't get me wrong. Y'all love Kosovo. I mean, y'all was talking about in one of your episodes about Lieutenant Jurek, as our
Yeah.
PL. Well,
Yeah.
as he got when they got switched out, we got Lieutenant Montrose. If y'all remember
Uh-huh.
him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
He was a prior Ranger, went green to gold, was enlisted as an E6, E7 before he even become a commissioned officer. So
Uh-huh.
that man taught me a lot, and he put me as his RTO and his pretty much butt sniffer, I guess you could say. Anything he said, I had to go get.
Yeah,
But
right.
it ended up working out for the best because that man taught me a lot, a lot from what he had learned from Ranger School.
Yeah, no, he
So
was a super knowledgeable guy. I remember. So he was an
very, yeah,
E6 Ranger, Airborne. I think he had his EIB. He'd even competed in the best Ranger competition. I think he came in like second or
yes,
third.
Yeah, he
yes,
had
he
the
did.
pistol up on the wall.
Yep. And he no, he had a knife. The winners get the pistol.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, winners gets pistol.
But yeah, he went green to gold. I remember in when we were back in Germany, man, like there were definitely some moments where he couldn't let go of being a staff sergeant, you know what I mean? But he was 82nd
Exactly.
all the way, you know what I'm saying? He
All the
was
way.
all American born, you know what I'm saying? E1
Yes, he
to
was.
E6 and then commissions and come to us, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
yeah, so but he was very knowledgeable guy. Definitely, knew his shit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. I'm
And
actually kind of
he
surprised we
took
haven't
me.
talked about it yet.
I thought about him and listened to your other episodes when y'all was talking about Kosovo and everything that happened there, and I was thinking about Lieutenant Montrose. He actually pulled me under his wing when we had to go walk the chicken leg because I was in second platoon with y'all with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
for that whole entire stint, and he pulled me under his wing, and just at times y'all would be out doing different things. He would have me in as his RTO, telling me how he ran things, how he wanted things, how he wanted me to answer, radio, how he wanted me to answer the squad leaders, because I was to be on his six at all times. So,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have to worry about a radio, didn't have to worry about comms, nothing. That was one of his main goals, and that was one of his main things he stressed to me was comms, comms, comms. Because
Yeah.
that's your most important thing while you're in the middle of an operation is your comms.
Yeah, man. When we deployed to Iraq, I was the RTO for Lieutenant
Yes.
Gunther, and I'd say that is kind of a stressful job, man. Because here
Yeah.
you are, you're trying to relay information to the squad leaders on the ground. You're trying to relay information for the PL or information coming from the commander. So you got all this information coming both directions, and like you're like the center of it.
Right, exactly. Well, that kind of led into my next job actually too, is because if y'all remember correctly, when we got back from Kosovo, Lieutenant Montrose was tasked to become the OIC of the arms room downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's when he pulled me in to take over the arms room. That was supposed to be a supplies position, NCO supplies position.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me after he pulled me to the side actually and told me, he says, "Now, Private Youngblood, you're a brand new private in here, and you've had some pretty good experience through Kosovo, and you've got a good head on your shoulders. Would you be my assistant and run this arms room for me?" And he physically come and asked me if I would do that.
Yeah.
And he says, I see you got some mechanical skills. I was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. So that's how I got pulled into that. And at the time, the headquarters didn't have one. So when we got back from Kosovo, it's kind of when I transferred over into the unit armor after we went to a Grafenwehr rotation. They turned around and sent me back to armament school at Grafenwehr.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's where I left for about 6 weeks and went to gunsmith school over there, which is pretty awesome, man. It was just an experience I got to have. A lot of people didn't get to. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, I do seem to remember you going off and doing that. Which, when you think about it, man, like when you're in an infantry, unit, you don't really expect to be in roles like that. I'm going to be a
No,
rifleman.
not
I'm
at
going to be a
all.
machine gunner. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But like arms room.
Yeah, exactly, man. And here I am. I'm signed for $1.6 million of equipment. I've got to go to the MP station and sign out keys for this and go to the battalion and sign out in the register book at battalion every time I open this place. I got to pick up the phone and call an arms room and get security clearances. And, it's something I was totally unexpected as a brand new soldier going in the military,
Yeah.
Hadn't been in a full year.
That's a
And
good
here I am
experience,
starting.
though. That's a
It
good
really
experience
was.
for a new soldier.
It really was. It led me to be able to do a lot of other things, because after we got done with our Iraq deployment, I ended up PCS in Hawaii and went to 25th, with
Oh
that
shit.
unit. I joined the unit that was attached to us, 114 Golden
Mm-hmm.
Dragons. They
Yep.
Oh
were
wow.
attached to us through Baton Rouge, Operation Baton Rouge, if y'all remember.
Yeah, a company of them
And
was.
yeah, a company of them was. Well, I was stationed with Charlie Company, the same company that helped us. That was attached to us.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it ended up pretty neat like that.
Did you go on that Afghanistan deployment? The one that Heil ended up going on? Because he went to Hawaii too.
Yes, he at 118. Was it 06, 07? I went to one with 118. We got asked to. 118 was our sister battalion over there with 25th, and they were way undermanned. And when they got deployed over, the first 2 months they just got slammed hard and lost a lot of guys, man.
That's what I heard.
It was detrimental, bro. So yeah, I deployed that next. It wasn't even really a rotation. It was almost like a refit because
Right.
they lost so many, pretty much come and asked us. And there was a few of us that was pretty fresh hot off the deployments, and we were all like, yeah, we're let's go. So I joined in and got on the light side of it besides the mechanized side. It was pretty awesome. And Afghanistan was a completely different fight than Iraq. I will say that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Iraq, you're talking like, urban terrain, houses, buildings, tall buildings, streets, shit like that. But like Afghanistan,
Exactly.
Most of the time you're off in a cop somewhere, basically, fish in a barrel because, you're set up in these like very, tactically disadvantaged,
As usual with our audio, there's always something funky that happens, so we actually had to split this one in half. This is the second part.
I know.
I have no idea. It's fucking dropped me up the wall. I thought if I just swiped it out, it'd go away, but it closed everything out. I'm going to have to actually do some editing for real now.
Yeah, for real.
Just waiting on Richard. There you go. Welcome back.
All right. Thank you.
Same shit that happened to you happened to me.
What? I wonder what they did. That's wild.
No, I mean, once people call, you can't block it. So,
yeah,
it'd be great if you could, but.
Well, I cut off my cell service. I do have iPhone and I do get iCalls, iMessages, but I did shut off my cell service. See if that blocks anything else. I don't know. What's up?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if anybody calls you over with an iPhone or text, whatever, but that's whatever.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna start. What were we talking about?
We were actually the difference.
The
Kevin was
difference
talking
between
about.
Iraq and
Difference
between Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man, completely different battlefiels. You know what I'm saying? Because you're up in the mountains in Afghanistan. Like, you're walking. I mean, I guess there probably were some urban environments, but probably out like where most of your infantry are going to be placed.
Right. The little villages is what it was. I mean, you were pretty much like you said. You're sitting ducks walking from wide open mountainside or side to a village, so you're pretty obvious of when you're coming in. I mean, so and that's all you're there for, really, is to draw fire. That was our whole mission, was to go out and.
You think about it, man. In Iraq, that was pretty much our mission too. I mean, we had occasionally we had objectives. Go raid this house, go do this, go capture this person, whatever. But a lot of times it was just when what they call a presence patrol is in effect walking around waiting to get shot at or for something to blow up and then react to that contact.
Exactly. And sitting back nowadays, I mean, young dumb soldiers we thought we were studs. We wanted to do all the high speed shit. Think about it now, it's like, wow, dude, how do these folks still sit up, join, and think and know that's what they're fixing to go do? Because that wasn't a thought in our mind.
I mean, again, like dealing with these kids, that come into basic training, they don't know. They know the stories that their parents have told them who have served over there, or they see what they see on TV.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or maybe a kid that graduated the year before them, or an older brother or sister. But like, I mean, and like you don't know until you're there what it's going to be like.
You really don't.
Yeah.
You really don't. You can expect all you want, but you're never going to know.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean somebody's not ready for it, though. I mean, a lot of these kids coming up have that fucking red fucking flame up their ass and they're ready to fight.
Yeah, I mean,
this is their opportunity,
one of
Yeah.
y'all's prior episodes, y'all were talking about second of the 10 Infantry. I mean, can y'all imagine being in New York and watching all those folks and probably a lot of your family members get killed in that and just wanting revenge?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
man. It's
maybe
insane.
that's some, that's how we create or how today's jihadists are created. It's watching their parents or their families get killed and hurt. So they still want to carry it on and try to hurt the folks or revenge for them.
So
I mean,
that's a unique thing you just brought up. The jihadists and whatnot over there in places that we're deployed to, the enemy. Do you how did you feel about your interactions with those dudes? Seeing this, hey, this shit just happened here. 9/11 just happened here in New York. The same guys that we went to go to combat with probably got inspired by that. Do you think that
right.
has any effect in the dynamic of deciding on, hey, how do I feel about these people that I'm fighting against? For you personally,
For me personally,
yeah.
it does. It does. It kind of makes you question, almost question what you're doing. You want to have a drawback a little bit because, if you think about
Oh.
your your kids, wow, what police there? Ooh, ambulance.
It's hot in these
Anyhow, if you
streets. It's hot in these streets, son.
if you think about your kids' generation and your kids want to follow their parents' footsteps, kind of like we did,
Mm,
and then I don't want my kid to have to go see the shit that I saw.
okay,
I really
so
don't. I
hey,
mean,
we flew through a lot of it, but all right, we're in Iraq now.
oh
I
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
before we even got to Iraq, I wanted to ask you, since you're one of the few married folks that we're going to have on here, or was married during the time pre-deployment, how did that
Yes.
affect your family life?
Well, I will say this: when we was gone, we got our let's see, to Kosovo. Right before we left, went to Kosovo. My wife had decided to go back home to come back home to Tennessee while I was gone. But she was going to wait for a few months before she come back home. She ended up meeting one of our team leaders' wives over there. One of the guys, it was Sergeant Jason Lead, if y'all remember him. He come
Yeah, I
from
remember
Korea.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways, she had met her wife, so she ended up staying there for a few months. And when we come back home, uh, she was already back in Germany waiting on us because we didn't have to relinquish our housing or none of that. It got to stay with our housing if our spouses decided to stay. So she decided to stay for a few months, so she scheduled out housing to be picked up a while back. Well, anyhow, she ended up staying. Well, she got sent home more. Iraq is when she more went home when we went and deployed to Iraq. I'm kind of jumping around here and across stories, but yeah, yeah. Well, what I'm trying to get at there is before we left and went to Iraq, right after Kosovo, while we was in the field is when my wife come back to Tennessee to see her parents. Exactly when she come home. Well, she had gotten pregnant before we had went to the field, and we get her back to Germany, and this is about 2.5, 3 months before we deploy. Well, my daughter is born January 9th of 2004, and we
Oh
leave
man.
what day? Yeah, we was gone like 2.5, 3 weeks old, and
Mm-hmm.
we left and went to Iraq.
Yeah, so that's an even bigger stressor, man, because that's not
Oh
just like
man,
married and deploying. That's like just had a brand new kid and deploying.
brand new kid, leaving my wife there from a completely different country, not been there very much, completely different country. Her instant decision was to go home, and then I've got to worry about supporting them at home with a child. And man, it was pretty stressful. Just getting everything even situated
Mm-hmm.
to even
Mm-hmm.
go was the hard part, and a lot of that is probably what caused my divorce. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Military life, and people can't handle. A lot of people can't handle it, and she was one that not, and it caused her to be angry at all time. And I feel for spouses, military spouses, because that's
Yeah, man.
a lot of them go through that, and I hate that. They
Now,
shouldn't
I
have to
mean,
do
don't get
that.
me wrong, man. Like all the dependent jokes and like I served too and all that nonsense. My husband's at this rank, so that's how you would. I mean, that's overboard
Right,
as
right.
fuck, man.
Yeah,
But
that's way
but
overboard.
when you talk about the op tempo of the United States military from 2001 to just recently when we pulled out of Afghanistan, actually
Hmm.
probably even still now because we still do have operations in Africa and parts of the Middle East, but
Right.
You think about that op tempo, especially during that time, man. Like, it was common. If you stayed on active duty like you did, you deployed, you were back for a refit, you deployed, you were back for a refit, you were constantly gone, man.
Gone constantly, and that's all there was. That was all there to do. I mean, and you had no time to think about. And a lot of my time when I come home, it was when you're deployed, it's you and your buddies. That's who you're there to protect. That's what you think
Yeah.
about. You don't have your spouse or your child there to think about at all times like you do. Like now I have 3 children, 3 beautiful children, love them to death. My daughter, by the way, that was 2 weeks old when I left, she's graduating high school, senior in high school this year. That
Dang.
don't make you feel
Wow.
old, folks.
Hell yeah, man. As if I needed
But
another thing to make me feel old.
yeah, no shit, right?
Jeez.
But
Jeez.
she's actually awesome. She's going to college, become a vet, and she's probably going to go to college first. And she said she wants to go spend some time in the military as an officer. So by all means, go for it. That's what you want to do, child.
Right on. So, okay,
So,
we're deployed now.
mhm.
You land in Kuwait.
Oh my
What
God.
is the first thing that hits your head? What are you thinking when you are officially deployed in some real combat? You're not quite there yet, but you're getting there.
Well,
You
hang on.
work
When we deployed, like, what was your capacity? Like, where were you working specifically then?
when we deployed, I was still the unit armor
Yeah.
at the time we
Mm-hmm.
deployed. I was still excuse me, the company armor. And with that being said, we were getting all the refitted, we were getting all the saw stocks, the short stocks, collapsible stocks for all the weapons, and the shorter barrels for the M4s and the short stocks for the M16s. Love was y'all's second platoon armor at the time, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of had to work together. We refitted all the weapons. We got that new ACOGs put in for the squad leaders, the team leaders, and things like that. And not a lot of people got them. Like you said, before you had an M16A4.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had. I had an M16A4, but I didn't went to school and learn a few things, so I put me a collapsible stock and was able to shorten mine down. I knew how to get the high speed shit.
You had
But when I'd
some
actually
Frankenstein shit on that side.
Yeah, well, actually, it was, man. It was pretty neat. When I deployed too, though, I ended up becoming part of headquarters. And after I, I was the company commander's gunner, is what my official position was when we deployed.
Mm-hmm.
And because to deploy like that, I was supposed to be a supply, and I could not deploy under as arms room tenant or whatever because I did not have a supply MOS. So they put me as the commander's gunner. Whatever admin reason that has to do, I have no idea why.
They will
But
find a way to make some shit happen somehow for
Yeah.
whatever
yeah,
reason,
it was
even though
wild.
that
But
doesn't seem like that's something that you need to make happen.
right.
It
So what
seems
we
like
did,
once you have that job, that's your job. Like, why do I have to put you in a
right,
different position to fill up the XYZ to make things work
right.
for point Q? It's fucking
And
dumb.
and see, that's when started actually Chief Warrant Officer duel now. That's pretty awesome. That's of that
Mm-hmm.
man. He's pretty. He was an awesome dude. He was a good soldier. He
Mm-hmm.
knew his shit. And I'm proud of him becoming a pilot because he talked about it a lot. He was in the headquarters platoon at that time. So when we got to Kuwait, we were running PT every morning, man, and that son of a gun got us caught out in one of the first sandstorms we had ever been in. And we was in PT shorts, shirts, snow goggles. Oh, dude, we got wore out for the last mile home, and it hurt so bad. He
Yeah, I
looked at us.
bet.
He says, "From now on, we're not doing no more of that shit." He said, "No, we're done. We're not getting caught out in that shit." So it was, and I had to actually, y'all. We talk about the ride over from Kuwait into Iraq. I was, I was a company commander's gunner at that time, and I was talking about Lieutenant Montrose leading into my position when we deployed. I actually became pretty much like Captain Rockefeller's RTO at the time. Riding up on top of his gunner, especially when he got off out of the Humvee, and because he was
Yeah.
in the middle of everything. How Captain
Yeah.
Rock was. He
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
be in everything. He
Mm-hmm.
was an awesome guy. That is one of the most intelligent men I've ever met in my life to this
Yeah.
day.
How so?
Yeah, this man, I've never seen anything like it. I watched him up on that gunner's hatch, and I remember one story. This man, our first big fight we got into Easter Sunday. Well, when Easter Sunday kicked off, he looked at me. We was riding around getting pop shots popped at us, and I wasn't seeing no visual open targets at time. I was scanning hard. I had 50 cal on top of the commander's truck. Frederick was driving. He
Oh
was
god.
hollering. So we come up to this alley when we get attacked. Y'all were telling a story about this the other day. And I looked down. I don't know how I noticed Captain Rockefeller doing this. This kind of leads into his intelligence, is where I'm getting at with this. But as we're leading down this alley, we turn into one, and I mean, we just get splattered with just 7.62 rounds everywhere. And Fred just starts yelling. And Captain Rocks look at me. He's like, "You better be fired!" And I done shot about 30 rounds. I said, "I have." I looked down at him. I was like, "I've been fired." And Fred's over there screaming, "Shoot her!" I mean, just going nuts, man. Fuck them up, yeah. Kind of like Griffin was talking about the other day in the Gunner's Hatch, just
Yeah.
kind of going on. And I get in that mode back there, and I just happen to see Captain Rockefeller. He leads that entire platoon, not counting other squads from other platoons that helped us in different times. Lead around that entire city. Would you say it was 230, 270 something thousand people
Yeah, around
in
there.
that
Yeah.
city?
Yeah.
He would guide y'all on every route without looking at a fucking map, man. Like he knew routes and route names in his head and could lead y'all to the objective of where we was receiving fire without ever looking at his fucking map.
Yeah,
And I've never seen, unbelievable, man, unbelievable.
I mean, so to put that into perspective, I mean, I can't think of any major U.S. cities off the top of my head right now, but like, I mean, because obviously, like all the major U.S. cities are a million plus, but I mean,
Right.
you think about operating in a town of 300,000 people, right? 300,000 people. I don't remember the square mileage of it, or
I don't
the
either.
area of the town, but I mean, to be able to just off the top of your head recall every single, and we didn't use the street names that were already there for Samara. So like
No,
when you're in the
NBA
military,
basketball teams. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So but when you're in the military and you're operating in a foreign land, like we don't bother trying to like memorize the actual street names of these towns because they're in a different language. Not everybody speaks it, so it's easier for us to set up. We're going to call this like, well, MSR Tampa, main supply route Tampa. There was route Irish, right? So in town, like you said, we used basketball teams or whatever. So it's just ways for us to be able to like, okay, so we know for a fact that this road is called this based off of what we're calling it.
Right. And we do that from a topographical map. That way, every single body, single soul, down to the last foot saw gunner, rifleman, AG, whoever knows exactly which road they're on. So everybody can look at that map and say, okay, this is what routes we know we're on.
Right.
Prospectively, it's what it should be.
Right. So yeah, man. So like to have a town of 300,000, and I'm trying to look up the square miles of this place, and I'm just not.
Man,
I guess I don't know how to internet right, but
Brown, it's funny, Tyree. You talking about y'all's commercial on your last couple episodes there about MrGoArmy.com telling your story because you had the picture of the spiral minaret. Kudos to you, man. Eat that shit up, brother. You deserve it. We all do. Eat it up, man.
Hey, man, I've been trying, kinda. I think I'm gonna try some more.
Eat it up, dude. On top of that, eat it up. But I wish that I could have got my picture because I was the first son of a bitch to re-enlist on top of that minaret.
Where are you?
Oh yeah.
I flew the American flag. It was right after Sergeant Goff became the re-enlistment NCO for our company.
Nice.
Yes, and I flew the flag. Captain Rock, the XO, Sergeant Goff, and me were on top of that minaret, flying American flag, getting sworn in for my second re-enlistment.
Right on. So your initial enlistment was 3 years?
No, 4 years. It was already 4 years. But I come in, it was 2003. It was right before, it was a little bit before we left. 2003, you always come up before, I had an open enlistment for some reason. It let me open up. I have no idea why it come to me like that because it was like right at my 3-year mark.
Well, because you can re-enlist a year out to your ETS date.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Okay. All right. So did you get that bonus tax free?
Well, shit, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I took 18,000 and went to Hawaii quick, baby.
Damn.
I
Well,
mean,
there
why
you go.
not?
You
I
gotta play
mean,
the game. You
hell,
gotta play the game.
the best part about all that, everybody talks about, you see folks and stories now about people having enlistment bonus problems and this, that, or the other, how it worked out. You got to wait 12 months to get enlistment bonuses or whatever. Mine, we had to wait so many days, yeah, but mine kicked in while we were deployed downrange every time. So I got all of mine tax free every single time.
Nice.
Really?
Yes, I
Real
did.
nice.
That's lucky.
I got lucked out on that, dude. I don't know how that worked out, but it did.
All right.
But
I finally figured it out. Samara is 58 square miles.
58
Word.
square miles.
That's a big gut. That's a big fucking town, man.
That's a very big town, man. I mean, to have 300,000 people in it, that's a lot of people in such a small area. If you want to get technical with it, that's not a small area, but I mean, 58 square mile. What's that?
It's a good size area with a
St.
whole lot
Louis,
of people
maybe?
just living on top of each other.
Yeah, St. Louis, maybe. I mean,
I'll look
that's
up St.
close,
Louis.
I would think. I mean, that was close. I'm sure they've got more population, but probably square
Yeah,
mile.
that is pretty close. St. Louis is 65.99 square miles. So yeah, they're about.
Okay. So imagine a man that we just got sworn in as our company officer, our company commander, because of our switch out we had. Learning that St. Louis in a matter of 3 days, 4 days, man. I mean, that's pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, and
St.
Louis has the same population, about 300,000.
So there you go. That's
you got to do what you got to do. He was put in that leadership position. You can't come in half-assed.
Which he was from the Ranger Bat too, so he was a pretty high speed man himself. He knew his shit ahead of time. He had a CIB on too, if y'all remember correctly, right?
He was prior enlisted, which is when he got a CIB. He was when he was with Ranger Bat. Where did he go? Panama, I believe it was.
Panama, I believe, yes.
Man, are you in contact with him still? Because I've been wondering like how his career progressed.
I have the last I heard, Captain Rockefeller, he was a light colonel at the Pentagon.
Okay.
And that is the last I heard or knew. And I have not seen or had any kind of contact with him since. I mean,
and you ain't never going to have no contact with him because that shit's G-15 classified, baby.
Exactly. I'm sure he's up there. You know what? I bet, you see Command Sergeant Major Sims all the time, Force Column Sergeant Major now, which is our first sergeant. I was in that headquarters platoon and during that deployment, and I didn't we was out right beside y'all at all times with the Humvees, because you know how First Sergeant Sims and Captain Rock was. Them two loved to be in the middle of it. And that was awesome. That was a great command. Like y'all said before, that's a highly commendable command team to do what they did as they stepped in right as we went on deployment. And that all helped from our bond as a deployment in Kosovo, like y'all talked about before.
I think that really does mean everything. That's you got a hell of a team already put together. You can swap out some parts and it'll still work.
Exactly. Everybody knew everybody for the most part, and everybody's comfortable and knows how we all operate on the same page. And we had done that, and even though you do swap platoons from here to there, it kind of coincides, and it helps the whole company coincide with each other. It makes it all for a better layout for everybody. Man. Yeah. It just really does.
They wouldn't grab shit bags. So
exactly.
So we're in Humvee. We're in Bradley's. You're in a Humvee.
No, I'm in a fucking Humvee with sandbags driving all the way to Iraq. I was in one of those shitty sandbag Humvees.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how that feeling was, but I guess it wasn't a great feeling.
No, it was not a great feeling. I was up on top of the gun. I rode on a 2-inch nylon strap all the way to Iraq.
Dang, man.
That hurt. And Brad did not ever want to switch off driving.
Yeah,
he did not want to switch off at all. He just wanted to drive. He didn't want to get on the gun. So that was my job.
It was you, Fred, and who else?
Captain Rock. That was the only three in our Humvee.
Going up there?
We rode together going all the way up. Yep.
Any funny stories? Any funny roll-up stories? Or is that all exclusively for that crew right there? You keep it to them.
No, ain't
yourselves.
really nothing exclusively. That is actually one of my bad memories I do not have is that trip. I remember driving up there. I
Mhm.
remember us getting a detour as we go into Baghdad, and then a certain PL kind of led us off in the wrong direction at one time, and we had to turn around. Y'all remember that? In the middle of a fucking marketplace in Baghdad?
No,
Because
oh no, I do remember that.
yes, you were. I believe you
Wow.
were the last vehicle. Y'all got
Yeah,
turned
we
around
were.
way last.
Oh yeah, we were at the very back. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, there were
Yeah.
some MPs up on a major intersection up there, and we got turned off. They tried to make us detour, and SPL come over the radio, and Captain Rock, I guess, had confidence in him, the CO, and says, "Hey, okay, lead the way." So he did, and it was a big old crowded marketplace full of people we didn't want to be in.
I am not familiar with this at all.
Oh, yeah, we got lost bigger than shit there for about 3 hours.
Yeah, I do remember that. And if you think about it, if people listening go back to the initial push into Iraq, it was a very similar situation that led to the abduction of our very first Iraq War POW, Jessica Lynch. Um,
Yes.
and that particular event changed the game for what we call soft MOSs. MOSs being your military occupational specialty, your job in the military, and your soft ones are the ones that are not specifically trained in combat operations. So your people like your infantry, tankers, combat engineers, Cav scouts, and occasionally MPs, military police. They're all trained in like combat operations, but not everybody else was. So like your soft MOSs, like your chemical, your fuelers, all these other jobs like that. It's not really their thing, but they still convoy. Your 88 mics, your truck drivers, they're considered
Yes.
soft targets. So
Yes.
Jessica Lynch and what happened in 2003 during the initial push and her abduction kind of forced the Army to look at training and look at how we've been doing it wrong. And this whole concept that like there's a reason everybody in the military qualifies. There's a reason everybody has to wear a helmet and body armor, but not everybody is out training in battle drills. Not everybody is out training in how to like do reactive shooting, ready ups where you're standing on the line and somebody says ready up and you engage with fucking, oh my God, what is that called? A double shot, double tap. How do I forget that? You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is being trained in that. And so then the way the Army started to change, and it's a slow process, but it took a couple years, but finally they started to push out, these soft MOSs with a little bit more combat training. And that actually kind of set the tone. And it's really interesting that our drive into Iraq, that same situation happened to us in the largest city in Iraq.
Yeah.
And it very easily could have gone south, especially considering, our particular setup, because we had our Bradleys on the back of trucks, semis.
Exactly.
And all we had was Humvees, and our biggest guns were, 50 cal machine guns and Mark 19 fully automatic grenade launchers.
Yes.
So
see, that's what I went to school to work on, was those big weapons.
Yeah,
that was my big job there.
That definitely could have gone south, and
yes, that could have.
It could have been a bad start to the year.
Luckily,
yes, it would have been a bad. No, yeah, we got real lucky there all the way through.
You roll into Brassfield Moore. Who are you staying with while you're there?
I'm actually bunked up with Frederick, good old Ron Frederick from Louisiana. My buddy, if you're listening to this, I hope to see you, hear from you. I ain't heard from you in a few months, so holler at us.
Yeah, Fred, if you're listening to this, pick your lips up off the ground, move them out the way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Durf?
Come on, Durf. Me and Durf, man. Me and Durf was we got split platoons there. He come back to second platoon, but he was in headquarters for a while as a commander's driver. And me and him, he was my battle buddy for the biggest part of our deployment in Iraq. And me and Durf, dude, we kind of connected on a bond, kind of like you and Griff did there, Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty awesome. He was a good dude, man. Good down there. He liked to be a smart ass a lot. I still love him though.
Oh yeah, man. Fred, one of my favorite stories from Fred. I can't tell that story.
You probably can't. No, there's no telling.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say if Fred, you're listening, I hope you remember this story. So I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but we were on a run right, in downtown Schweinfurt, as we would occasionally do, running on the economy, and with Sergeant Smith's squad at the time. And, he really needed to stop somewhere on the run. And he runs into this bakery, and he pops in and pops right back out. I was like, oh, no, that place won't work. And we're like, what the hell? Why not? Those girls in there are cute. What if I want to come back later? And so, all right, whatever. And we keep on running, and we're like a half mile from Leadward, so we just keep on trucking and get back to the barracks, and we're doing the cool down and all that stuff. And come to find out, he should have stopped while we were there. Let's just put it that way. I can only
imagine.
Yeah, man. He, Fred, you could talk shit to Fred all day long, and he would give it right back to you, man. He definitely was a good dude.
With
he really
veracity.
Was,
with veracity. Yeah. I like Fred, man. He had a fucking attitude and temper that just fucking snapped in a second.
He would bitch about anything.
Yeah. He bitched about every damn thing.
Every
fucking
dude.
thing. Yeah.
And they're valid complaints for the most part. For the most part, they're valid.
Yeah, they really were. Well, some of them are pretty dumb. I will say that.
I said for the most part, goddamn.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Me and Fred had some good times though. We went back, man. We was chilling, just reading some letters and shit back. Walking around some of the grain silos there at Browse and Mora. We went, in the middle of the deployment, and we get fucking shot in. A bunch of rockets come in at us, and me and Fred are stuck back here in this grain silo, and these bitches are landing like 100 yards away from us. And we're out back, like kind of. I don't know. You know how if y'all remember correctly, the mortars were over towards the town of Samara, and I'm not good with directional at that point in time, but they were towards Samara where the mortars and the artillery was stationed at, and there was a set of grain silos in between us and the mortar section over there, or the artillery section set up. And me and Fred was walking around in and out of those grains one day, just kind of bullshitting around, cutting up, getting away, just kind of relaxing away and talking our own shit with each other, talking about our families, and all of a sudden these rockets start coming in. Some of it, he freaks. He jumps instead of running out, he jumps the wall and he leaves his weapon laying on the. Because we're sitting in a grain silo, he's reading me a letter, and he leaves his weapon in the grain silo.
Yeah.
And we take off back to the bunkers for head count, because if y'all remember, we had to go back and do head count.
Yeah.
So he comes over to me in the pitch black dark and says, "Youngblood, there's a fucking gun in the goddamn silo." I was like, "What?" I said, "Say that a little bit louder, why don't you?"
Yeah, no shit.
And this little bitty old sandbag bunker that we built. Y'all remember those beside our hoochies, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, but we were in those little bunkers.
It's just like the memes on the internet. When you first get there, you know what I'm saying, you hear that fucking air raid siren or whatever it is, and you hear the watch and the impact. You're like, "Oh shit, get to the bunker." But like 6 months in, you're like, "Fuck it, man. If it's my time, it's my time.
It's my time. It's gonna hit. We have no cover. Just let's come on in."
Let it do what it is. I remember that night. I remember that night that those rockets came in and you and Fred were off. I remember something. I remember something very specific that Fred told me about being off that we won't get into, but I do remember that night very well. I remember Fred being like, "Holy fuck, man! Holy!" Like he was freaking out. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we were drinking. I think we was drinking some of his sister's coffee he had sent. If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Y'all are out there just having a fucking casual stroll while the fucking rockets are coming in.
Hey man,
yes.
You get so far into deployment, man. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
It was nothing to us at that point, man. It really wasn't. Man. I mean, dude, if y'all remember, y'all was talking about the fight on Easter Sunday. We come through on the headquarters when the headquarters platoon Humvee got hit. That was Sergeant Brunick took a bunch of shrapnel on the side of his legs. If he was our FSO from the artillery battery, the guy that called in fire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was riding with he was the master gunner of the company at that time. I can't remember who, staff sergeant somebody.
Didn't they say somebody picked him up while that shit was going on and they made a big deal?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was staff sergeant. It was the platoon sergeant at the time before Sergeant Winchester come to us. It was the Mike Goff, the master gunner. I can't.
Sergeant Worth.
His name.
Was he with us?
No, it was. Yeah, no, Sarntworth wasn't with us. It was right after Sarntworth.
Yeah.
Guy with glasses. He was. I can't remember his name. God
Start with
forgive
a
me. I
B?
mean, he was. It might have had. It might have had. I cannot remember.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
We'll have to
on the
put some
tip of
thought
my
into it.
tongue.
We'll look
Yeah,
at it.
Well, he was the Mike Golf right after Sarntworth left.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
That's
remember.
exactly who it was. I can't remember exactly who he was, but anyways, he was with them, and they got hit, and we come through the alleyway, and that's when Fred was screaming all that obscenity, like Griff screaming in the truck. Captain Rock's looking over at Fred, telling him to shut up, I can't hear the radio. He said, I'm just laying off. And I remember looking up at that time, and this is my first visual contact I have of actual enemy soldiers sitting up with RPGs and RPKs sitting up on rooftops like you see in Ghost Recon or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we come up in this alleyway, man, and it was every building. I was spinning in 360 degrees, just rolling with 340.
That reminds me of a scene from the movie Black Hawk Down when they're trying to find their exfil from the town, and they are just surrounded. Trucks are just driving around in fucking circles. 50 cows laying down rounds.
That's what we was doing, dude, and we was taking that all the way through like 2.5 blocks. We were trying to get around to the other Humvee. And that's when good old Crazy Bill Baggett there, Mr. Sergeant Baggett, God forbid, I love that guy. He was awesome too. He gave me hell in that arms room. But he did. It's when he was headed over, which made Captain Rock pull out. And we pulled out when we went to recover that man that had got the pilot that had got shot in the foot in the Kiowa.
Yeah.
We went to medevac him. We had pulled out of what we thought was RPG range, if y'all remember correctly, and that RPG was shot at us. We were sitting out in that field, right outside the town, and the idiot Jihad or Taliban or whichever one they was at that time decided to pull one launch pin and never pulled an explosion pin. It was like a 2-pinned RPG, and it never exploded. It went like 3 foot over the top of my head over my Humvee. And it bounced by one of y'all's dismount squads, and I can't remember who it was.
So the RPGs, man, they have a unique setup to them. So basically, it's just like any other like rocket launcher or whatever, where you have your typical safeties like you would on any weapon system. But like at the end of those things, there was some type of like, and I'm not like overly familiar with these things, but I do know that there's some type of like primer that goes in the tip of those things. So when they make impact with something, it's like for example, our things like the 203, the grenade that's launched from a 203 or an AT4, like they have an arming distance, right? They have to, like the 203 has to rotate so many times so that it's safely away from the person who fired it. Well, the RPGs have a primer that's in the tip of those, and so that's where that comes from. And so they probably did, because that happened quite a bit, actually. I remember that happened a ton of times.
I remember hitting a
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I remember quite a few hitting Bradleys and bouncing off and never exploding.
Yeah.
I spent hours waiting on EOD to come get it.
Right. Well, there was so towards the end, man, like we were up on a rooftop. It was I was in Sergeant Smith's squad. I was one of his team leaders, and I was on a rooftop laying behind some bricks. Right, there's just one layer of bricks. The whole rooftop was like, it looked like it was freshly tarred, but it was just because it was so hot. And so we were in contact. Right, I was engaging from where I was, and then the rest of the squad was on one side, other side of the building, behind a wall, shooting down, and they were engaged by somebody else. Well, they receive an RPG. Like you hear the launch, you hear it sounds like air brakes on a semi on an air brake, a vehicle that takes air brakes. It sounds like the air brakes being released, and it just slams into the wall. And had they primed that RPG, all of those guys would have been down. Maybe not dead, but down for sure. Like Purple Hearts, maybe one KIA. Yeah, for sure. But that thing wasn't primed, so it hits the wall, goes like flying off, flipping all the way back down to the ground, and we're on top of a 2-story building. So just below us is Wild Bill's track. He fucking pops up. Now we're still engaged. He pops up with his CVC helmet on, unplugs that fucking thing, hops out of the top of the Bradley, M4 still in the Bradley, jumps off, runs into this little courtyard where the RPGs land, kicks it, it's still smoking, picks it up, and he just starts laughing and looks at me on the rooftop, and he's like, "These stupid motherfuckers didn't even prime it," and throws it back down and walks off.
God, that
We,
man.
we were
What?
they were not the varsity.
Where does
but at
that
the same
come
time,
from?
That's fucking nuts, dude. Like, God damn.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
and
man.
so for people listening, if you're ever wondering where Wild Bill got his nickname from, there it is.
There it is.
That's just one example out of probably 1,000. Yeah.
It was wild, man. It's oof.
So
Yeah.
you're on that gun for the majority of these missions, man. Did you ever have any of those butt pucker moments?
I had a lot of butt pucker moments, man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I mean, for the first month and a half, there wasn't no real hard engagements or nothing there for the first little bit. And it's, at night missions, especially rolling in, my butt was puckered every time going in. I was waiting for an IED to go off. And, we was running with the command team. So when we would go in, it's like 2 platoons would go in. Alpha Company would go in with us sometimes. And we would hit a couple different spots and run, dual missions. We would come back out if, we were doing a medevac or, a wound or something like that. We would run out with like Captain our first RV from Alpha Company and all them, and we were running back and forth. So we were always constantly worried about the VBIDs, the vehicle-borne IEDs, man. And if y'all remember correctly, right before we left, I got hit. My Humvee got hit directly right by the minaret with the IED.
How did that? Tell us what happened with that.
Well, there wasn't much happened with that. There was Sergeant Lee. Was the XO's gunner at the time, and I was actually driving, and we put Fudd. Y'all remember Dustin Elder?
Oh yeah.
Fudd. He used to like to run around naked all the time, little shithead. He's doing good too. I've talked to him a little bit here and there. He's doing pretty good.
Good.
And he's got 2 beautiful daughters, or 2, I think, but he's doing real good. But anyways, he was up on the gun. Well, I turned around at the time I got hit. I mean, it get hits directly at my side door. Of course, we had done got our up armored Humvees by then, so it hit, and Captain Rockefeller's eyes got about as big as a light bulb, and looked at me and said, "Stop it!" I am. What the? I mean, it's ringing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm done concussed. I don't know where I'm at. I'm just kind of dazed. And I remember it was right before the left turn we had to take right by the minaret to get back to Patrol Base Yvonne. And I was right there at that intersection is where I got hit at. And it was damn right beside y'all heard it. Everybody come running out to us. And luckily, the only thing that happened, it hit the undercarriage of the Humvee, and it took a bunch of brake lines and shit out. But Lee looked up at me, and we got out and says, "Did you see that fucking fireball that went over Fudd's head?" No, I did not. Y'all know excited how that man got. He was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "No, I didn't see that. I was too fucking busy ringing. What are you talking about? I'm still ringing, but it hurt so bad, man."
And so, I want you to kind of go into that. Fine. Obviously, people listening may not have ever been through an IED, which improvised explosive device. And the true definition is like any explosive device that's used in a different way than it's originally intended. Here's the thing. Oftentimes, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, here's the thing like that. Oftentimes, they're run by a remote device. They're tied into cell phones or whatever. And oftentimes, they're dug into the side of concrete slabs or in the middle of the road. And we had just come down that route. I mean, it was 30 minutes prior to this. And we were actually doing right seat rides with the new unit is what we was doing. Yeah. We was showing them. We were in our own Humvee, but that new unit's commander was behind us. And Captain Rock, we stopped there at that intersection, and I stopped because I was lead vehicle. Captain Rockefeller loved to lead from the front, so my asshole stayed puckered up when we was up there. I was either on the gun going to get blowed up, or I was either going to be driving, getting blowed up, or trying to be on the radio, telling him whatever he wanted me to tell somebody, and going to get shot with RPG because they knew he was the commander. because he wanted to be in front of everything.
Yeah.
And when we was up front there, we stopped, and I looked down. I said, "Sir, I said, I don't want to take this road right here. I said, we need to turn around and go back. I said, there's something up there that was not there." And he says, "Nah." He says, "Are you sure?" He pulled out his binocs. He got to looking. He had Fudd look. Fudd was up on the gun. He says, There's something new there." And he looked at me. He said, "Well, Sergeant Youngblood." You see, we had done went to the promotion board at that time, so I'd been promoted up to E5. And he said, "Sergeant Youngblood, what do you think? We're fixing to get out of here." I said, "Sir, we're in up armors. Fuck it, let's go." He says, "Fuck it, let's go. You made the call." I said, "Fudd, hold up, get down, get up underneath your chicken shield. I think there's an IED up here." I said, "But we're gonna haul ass past it." And I wasn't going near as fast as I thought I was, I don't guess, because it just blam sad directly hit me right in the side, man. It was I lost all vision, hearing. I mean, Captain Rocket blew the microphone, the damn handset radio out of Captain Rock's hand. It blew him over. Fudd went down in the seat. Luckily, Fudd was under his chicken shield. If he'd been standing up like we normally do when we engage
Yeah.
over the chicken shield, he would have been decapitated. I mean, literally would have been. And
Yeah.
it was just the grace of God at the time, and he had just gotten down at that point. And man, that was probably the scariest moment that I'd had. We was over in Afghanistan, and I took some shrapnel off RPG, about like he was talking about earlier, off a wall, and I'm out on 100% medical discharge now. So I'm living life pretty good. They took care of me, and I cannot complain, except for the time it took me to get what I've got to get now. So, but that was definitely a butt pucker hole moment.
Glad everything worked out, man. How bad was the vehicle?
Yeah.
Did you say just the brake lines?
Yeah, just the brake lines, man, and it didn't even mess up the hubs or nothing. It flattened one tire. Actually the RPG that hit Sergeant Brunick's vehicle at the first of our deployment there, when he took all of his shrapnel on the back of his legs, that did more damage to that Humvee than what the direct IED did hitting us.
Can you imagine hitting that IED with the Humvee that you originally came into Iraq with?
Oh man, I'd have been dead, dude. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine nothing because I wouldn't have been here.
I mean,
We was in a damn
those
Scout
sandbags, man.
Humvee with sandbags powder. Yeah.
Yeah, those sandbags only do so much, man. But like, I mean, those up armoreds, comfortable as they may be, limited in space and all that stuff. But I mean, there's a trade off, right? Like you're trading comfort for security, for safety. So they definitely do their job,
man.
Yeah, I don't even give a fuck about losing out on a little bit of space, man. I would gladly be a little bit more uncomfortable just to have that fucking security, man.
Yeah,
shit like that. The fucking RPGs and these fucking IEDs hanging out. Like you just went down that road. These treacherous motherfuckers are doing all kind of wild shit. I wouldn't risk it.
No, not at all. I mean, you'd be dumb to send, like you said, your soldier into combat with a light-skinned Humvee right now. I mean, it's
and they were doing it. They were doing it that year. The people that, of course, that's what they were using. I mean,
that's all they had.
We obviously we did replace a mechanized unit, but like other units were rolling around in light armored or no armored vehicles.
Well, 101st was there, was there not? A part of 101st. They was all in light skinned Scout Humvees.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a mess. I mean, it really is. Armor is the way to go when it comes to things that go boom. You know what I mean?
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. Like you said, the second of the 108th, poor man that took the RPG in the chest for, that was a bad night, bro. I still think about that night.
Yeah.
And so you were on the radio for a lot of things. How did that go?
Oh, dude, it was chaotic, man. It was chaotic. And the sad part about that, dude, I think about this every day of my life, and I cannot get it out of my head, is I was sitting there on the commander's gun, and the platoon leader that orchestrated that entire shindig of their 5-ton traveling with the steel sheets instead of getting out sooner and walking like they should have had. I asked him, I kindly begged him not to send so many soldiers out in that 5-ton. I mean, I specifically, we're not I mean, if y'all remember correctly, we were in RPG Alleys where we was taking it. That was our nickname for that place
Mm-hmm.
that we inherited from Fourth ID.
Right.
And we had begged, and I specifically that night as we was prepping right after mission brief and everything, we was sitting down and I was, sir, look, I'm not the man to tell you what to do, but I would ask you personally to take that down to one squad, not put two squads in that 5 ton. And sure as shit, that's when it went off and got hit pretty hard. But
Yeah,
I
man.
think about that every day, and it sucks.
What? So as far as thinking about, I mean, like that kind of brings up a thing that I think that Tyree and I were both wanting to get into is, definitely life after the military. I mean, obviously, after we went to Iraq, you go to 25th in Hawaii, and then you deploy to Afghanistan. So you get out of the military after that, right?
Yes, I get out after that. I'm done with that. I took I took some of that shrapnel from that RPG, and I come back, and it was part of one of their little downsizing missions times that they had for, I guess, Department of Defense to downsize the U.S. Department of Army at the time. So they sent it up instantly for me to get a med board, and I got a 30% disability and honorable medical discharge with 6 years still left on my contract,
Dang.
and I got that from Department of Army sent that down to me through my med
Okay.
board.
So definitely, medically retired
Yes,
from the Army
yes,
after 4 years and multiple deployments. One
hmm
peacekeeping deployment and two combat deployments to two
two
different
combats.
countries. Yeah, and so now here you are. Like Army says, "Hey man, thanks, but have a good one."
Yeah, I
So
mean that's pretty much what it is. I kind of got lucky. When I first got back, actually, speaking of terms of after the military, I first got back, I filed, for my VA because you had to do it in a certain time limit before you got out if you wanted to try to get it expedited or whatnot.
mhm.
And I was recommended, through the discharge process that I should file for it since I was, getting medically put out. And as I was doing that, it still took me 4 years to get my first rating from the VA.
Really,
4 years, man. Yes,
that's
That
one
and
hell
should
of
have
a
been
they
some
back pay
good
though.
back pay, right?
Oh yeah.
it was great back pay. I will not lie. It was over 6 digits. I will not lie.
Whoa,
Uh,
shit.
Dang.
yeah, I lucked out on them, and they couldn't do shit about it. So,
Yeah.
because I'd done what the DAV, that's Disabled American Vets, is definitely a good branch if you need to get a hold of them people.
Hmm.
They helped me out, and they were at the bottom of my regional VA office is where they were at, and they stayed on top of it. One man did, and he kept on and kept on. And when they first come back with a rating, they only come back at like a 60-70% rating for me, and I had 14 different claims. When I walked up to the VA, that was at the time everybody was coming back is after, the '03, '04, '05, '06 to '09 deployments after it got really bad right there. And there were so many soldiers coming back where they
Hmm.
were
Mm-hmm.
hurt, or injured or wounded and KIA. So what the regional office I walked into had like a team of post deployment doctors, and they would set you up on a post deployment exam to where you went in one day and you seen every different section from physical to orthopedics to mental to uh, ear, nose, and throat to every single individual specialty that they have up there. And
Yeah, so it's a
each
good
one of
one-stop
them,
shop.
yeah, that's the way it happened for me. And the DAV set that up for me so I wouldn't have, because I live 2 hours away from my closest VA, regional VA office.
Right.
And they set that up for me so I could get that all done at one time. Well, it worked out because I mean when I come out, they had 17 different medical diagnoses for me to get claimed on from the VA.
Dang.
Awesome. And
Wow.
so yeah, and I filed for that, but like I said, it still took them 4 years. And the DAV also led me on to something that's called a individual unemployable.
Uh huh.
And I'd come home, man. I was working factory life. The army was like, piss on you, you're done, bye. So for 4 years, I come home and work the factory life and work midnights, work 12, 16 hours a day just to take care of my kids. And I had to quit working that, man, because my knees, I blew my knees out over in Afghanistan along with the shrapnel. That was part of my discharge. I tore a bunch of ligaments in my right knee, and it's given me hell ever since. But when I had to get off that concrete floor, I got attacked to my DAV representative and asked him, what's the deal? What's going on here? And I said, I need to know, this is starting to suck. These people are getting on my nerves. I mean, I just couldn't be around a crowd of people. And that's the way it was in a factory. And I couldn't walk on them hard ass concrete floors. So he said,
Mm-hmm.
hey, there's this thing called individual unemployability. If you file for it, they got to pay you at the 100% rate for so long until they deem you can either find a job, or if you're unable to be unemployed still, then you will get paid at the 100% rate until they find, your next rating. Well, I went in, and about 18 months after they actually approved me for that, within a few months, he sent that paperwork in, and that was a big surprise. So they paid me at 100% disability rate, and they sent me in about 18 months later, and I got this younger psychologist dude that was kind of like, hey, I don't want you to bring up any old stories. You kind of seem like you're doing good in life now. You look good, you look healthy, you look like you're taking care of things. How about we just make this permanent and total and just set you down? You don't have to worry about it again. So I kind of lucked out on that end, man. So really did.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a
That's really
30-minute. Yeah, that was a 30-minute visit, and that was a younger dude. That was a younger generation of kids that respected what we did, obviously, and that was working for the VA. He had never been in. He was a psychologist, is what he went to school for, and he was just like, hey, you did your thing. We appreciate it. Thank you. Here's what I'm going to do for you.
Well,
It
and
was
he
one of those
probably
type things.
knows, that sitting you down and being like, okay, well, let's talk about your experiences, and and knows that, like, talking about your experiences. My uncle went through the same thing. Like, he said when he would go to those group therapies and he was forced to talk about shit that went down in Vietnam, that he would just relive those moments, and it really was no help to him. And that
No,
it was just continuing on and
exactly.
making the memory more alive. You know what I mean? And
Right, right,
always at a struggle. So I mean, that's good that he recognized that and understands, say, because
right, right.
honestly, like you can look at paperwork from anybody that deployed during that time frame and say, okay, you were in this area during this time frame, this was your job,
Hmm.
I can look at your awards and be like, oh, okay, so you definitely saw some shit,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and call it what it is.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And he noticed that, and I appreciated it, appreciated that from him, a lot. But because at the time I was at a point to where I couldn't talk that much about it. I really couldn't.
yeah,
And now I found later, 20 years, 16, 20 years down the road, I've kind of got to where I feel myself, my closer buddies I'm with around home, my brother, things like that, to where I'm starting to talk about things more because it's starting to relieve more off me now,
yeah,
and to where it don't bring up bad memories. But I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, what little casualties that we personally had with us.
right,
And I think if we would have had more casualties, with us, then it might be a completely different story,
for sure.
because
Yeah,
we got lucky because, like we said, our Kosovo deployment helped, and we knew we had each other's backs. We lived that time in Germany with each other. I mean, because, yeah, I was married at the time, folks, even if y'all listen to this, but I partied with the boys in the barracks all the time. They were my
yeah,
dudes, or they come to the house. I mean, it's the way it was. We went to the Rock Fabrique and
oh
everywhere
yeah,
else, the Rock
yeah, man.
Corner. I mean, what was it?
Oh, the
What
Rock
was the
Corner.
Wednesday? Oh my God! Do y'all remember the tall blonde from there?
No,
That was my oh
I was drunk a lot.
oh my God!
You say tall blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tall blonde headed chick.
Oh Jesus! There's like 98 million of them. What are you talking about?
Well,
The
she was
tall
the only
blonde
one.
one.
Well, during our time there, she was the bartender there at the Rock Corner, and oh man, she was something else. I'll say that.
There was only one female German that I had an eye on when I was down there. She worked at the internet cafe. She's brunette. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know if
Hmm.
you
going to
got
that
it.
place.
She really she didn't. Oh, man, brunette German. Oh man, she was really good looking. Anyway, let's not neither here nor there.
Right.
So
I remember going to that place and trying to type on their damn keyboard, and, like, because their keyboard is not laid out the same way ours is.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the what is it? The fucking Oh man, so like where the X is, I'm looking at it now actually. So where the X, like, so it's the letters are all over the. I mean, they're mostly in the same place, but like as you're typing along, like you'll hit a letter that's like, wait a second, that's not the letter that needs to be in there. Yeah, man, and so this, you go back to like 2000, I guess we were hitting that place up, 02, 03, early 04.
Oh,
At the
four,
time,
yeah.
at the time, you know what I'm saying, that was the internet. You went to a place that had the internet, and you would get on there and you would send emails and you would update your MySpace and all
MySpace.
that.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. And that's what you did. You know what I'm saying? That's where you had to go to a place to do that. We had computers in the barracks, but those computers were not for the internet because we didn't have the internet in the barracks. Those
No.
computers were for like watching
Whoa.
movies.
There were some people who had internet, and I think Dougie Fresh had internet, or somebody
Well,
had like a really nice computer.
yeah, no, yeah, he had a gaming setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him
Yeah.
and Paget and a few others. They had gaming setup, but like, we weren't gamers. You know what I mean? We weren't on there
No,
playing
hell
like
no,
whatever
dude.
fantasy bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We were
No.
drinking.
We were drinking. Yeah, I mean, my first time, I lived in the barracks before because my wife left. I had a house, a lot of y'all come to the house and hung out. Well, it was just me. She was gone and back to Tennessee when we come back from Kosovo. So we partied at my house a lot, and then we went back to the barracks. I slept at the barracks more than I did in my house, I think, more than anywhere.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome, man.
So since then though, right? So you got your rating and all of that, it eventually worked out. And it sounds like six figures worked out pretty well for you.
It worked out really good, man. No, don't get me wrong. I don't make nothing like that every year, but
Yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
my back pay was for sure. And
Yeah.
it's
So
livable.
yeah, right. Yeah. So let me, and I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, like, just now being able to kind of talk about things and being able to get it out there, which,
Mhm.
which is one of the, when Tyree and I first started talking about doing this, it's almost selfish to say, but like, it wasn't one of our initial intentions was to help other people be able to open up and talk about this stuff.
Right.
Because he and I, we've talked about it.
Uh-huh.
My best friend Tyree's also good friends with, her husband. And so we
Right.
would, all the four of us would get on and we play Call of Duty. And, sometimes we talk about shit in Germany or in Iraq or wherever.
Right.
And
Right.
so I think that there was a level of comfort in talking about that stuff group. And what we
Right.
wanted to do is be able to, put this stuff down. I mean, like we've discussed in previous episodes where we want to talk about, like, we want to let people know that your regular everyday soldier did some shit too. And I mean, don't get me wrong, man, cool guys got cool stories, but like, we weren't cool dudes, man. We were nothing to write home about, but like, we were out there doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so since we've been doing this, I mean, this is going to be episode 6. And in the first couple episodes, we've had people contact us, I mean, directly or through other people, and letting us know that, like, what we're doing is helping them be able to talk about the shit that they went through and
Right.
to be able to open up about it. And dude, that is insane. And
Yeah,
like, we're like, yeah, dude, that is like, we're so happy that that's how it's going.
Yeah, I highly commend y'all for this, man. I mean, because I think y'all get a lot more contacts also because folks, people that you feel comfortable around. I mean, this is my opinion, my perspective. Don't get me wrong. You may not feel this way, but I feel like folks, they get around a certain security of people, a band of brothers as we were,
Mm-hmm.
as you could call us, and you feel more comfortable to open up. I mean, you want to talk about your stories. I mean, you want to talk about the things you lived, your memories of, because, we were our young 20s, man, and that was the greatest years of our life, bro. It
Yeah.
was, I wouldn't trade anything in the world, and I'd go straight back to combat with you guys again today. There would be
Oh,
no
absolutely. No
second question
hesitation.
about it. No hesitation. I'd go with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
And
know, you and the knees, man. I might think twice.
hey, my knees will hold
Hey,
up. Hey, I tell you what, I can still get out even after I got hurt. I can still beat 80% of the people in my company on my PT test.
hey,
Oh, right on.
well, we'll put you in the gun truck though. We'll put you right back in the turret, man.
Hey, that'd be all right because I love fucking shit up with them big 50s. Dude, it was so awesome watching that, man. Oh, dude, there was some of my fondest memories is on
Yeah.
that gun and just lighting into top of buildings, man. It was pretty
Yeah.
spectacular.
Yeah, I bet,
Just
dude.
to
I mean,
piggyback a bit on what we were saying here,
yeah.
it's important to talk. It's
Mm-hmm.
important to
Yes,
talk, man. Like you can't
it
hold this
really
shit
is.
in.
No,
You don't
man,
know who of your friends could use somebody to just talk to.
you really
Yeah.
can't, man. Poor
Uh,
y'all spoke about Billy Jack. God rest his soul.
Mm.
I
yeah.
hate everything there had happened that, but maybe exactly just people to talk to, somebody open
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
up.
All
Yeah,
you need
man.
is somebody to talk to, and those people are around, man. We have
Yeah.
fucking
Hey, anybody
Facebook,
look me up. I'm on
Instagram.
Facebook. Yeah, I'm here to talk to for anybody. I don't care who it is, any time of the night.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
that
no,
easy.
Even if
on
it's somebody you didn't even like, man, hit that person up and just
Exactly.
yeah, on that note,
chat with
man,
them.
for
See how
for
they doing.
real. Like hit us up on the Facebook page before I forget. Or find me on Instagram with underscore Valor underscore, Tyree on Instagram, the mighty 126. Like if you need somebody to talk to and you don't feel comfortable talking to your people, it's like, I mean, because that's the thing, man. Like the military, like we are a family. Just because I don't know you personally, just because we wore a different uniform when we did our jobs, doesn't mean that we're not brothers and sisters in arms. And
Exactly.
that's what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like we are a
Exactly.
community, and that community has to take care of each other because Lord knows, the people that are supposed to be taking care of the veterans aren't
Or
doing it.
not.
Yeah.
No, I mean they're already
Um,
talking about trying to cut the benefits for the Social Security and the veterans. It's already been talked around in the
yeah.
upper echelon of folks. So we got to stick together. That's all we
Yeah,
got.
man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, the veteran suicide rate is increasing, right? It was 22 a day. It is increasing. It's getting more and more and more and more. Now, 22 a
Mm,
day, like we all know, is just an average. It's just an average,
right.
X amount of veterans for the year divided by 365 and a quarter, 22 a day. That number is going up. We need that
Right.
number to go the opposite direction. And the way we do that is we talk to each other. We ask each other,
Yes.
"What's up, man? How's it going?" We stay in contact after we come home, just like we mentioned in the last episode with our homies in the Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them said, "Man, we've been talking about stories that we haven't talked about since," and that's what this is about. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah. 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 I mean,
So
because those all in all, you're back here. 90% of us have good memories and good stories about it. So that's
yeah,
going to help you bring yourself back to yourself of who you originally was. If you fell into a
Mm-hmm.
funk, if you fell into
no,
anything,
that is
eh,
100% right. I
that'll help you come back.
when I came home, man. So, and I think I talked about this before, but like we came home in like February 14th, 04 or 05, right? 90 days later, June 1st, I'm back in Arkansas, right? The only people in my family who served, who served in combat, was my uncle,
Hmm.
and he didn't live near us. He gave my parents a book, how to live with somebody with PTSD.
Right.
My parents read that book and they kind of followed it. They allowed me the time to transition, to kind of decompress, and to have those moments. But it wasn't, and this is no discredit to what my family did to help me, but it wasn't enough. I needed support from people that knew what it was that I had gone through. I went to the VFW, and I have a whole bone to pick with the VFW. They need to
Yes.
revamp their shit. We don't play bingo.
Yes.
We don't play
No.
fucking bingo anymore. Okay. So VFW, if you ever happen to listen to this, revamp your shit. Put a gym in there. Put a gaming center in there. We don't play bingo. Fix that shit. But I went to the VFW, and it's cool to listen. It's cool to sit down. The oldest guy in there was a World War II veteran, infantry guy, and he had some cool stories. The Korean War vets, the Vietnam vets, the Persian Gulf vets, they all
Yeah.
had great stories, but there was no connection other than we
Right.
served. And
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't work for me. So fortunately, like Tyree and I, we stayed in contact, and I tried to stay in contact with other people. I used to go out to California and see Tyree, and we'd go out and
Hmm.
fuck up Las Vegas or whatever the shit. You know what I mean? And that definitely helped, man. But like coming back into the reserves and being able to be around military people in uniform, for me was a huge benefit. And
I
if
bet.
if 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 this podcast helps one person, just one fucking person, if they listen to this and they're like, yeah, man, I'm not alone in this journey. I'm not alone in this transition. Then fuck, dude, like mission accomplished. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's important,
Exactly.
man. We all raised our hand to sign up for this shit.
Yeah.
But we are the only people, in my opinion, that can ever sit down and talk to each other and get to the root issue of our feelings about stuff. We got to get over the fact that we don't want to talk about feelings about shit too.
Yeah, true.
Like
Right.
you got to open up
a huge stigma
you got to
about that,
open
right?
up that box. You got to open
Yeah.
up that box. Sometimes you got to scratch off that scab, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's painful, man. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Like it took me years to even get to the point that I was comfortable talking about certain things. It was hard to talk about Kreider a few nights ago when we talked about it. There's so many other stories that are hard to even get into for me because there was nobody who I can talk to about it. We're infantry. We're infantrymen.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all was right around
we're
that.
Infantrymen.
Kreider.
So we should be able to talk to each other about it because we experienced it.
Right.
Experienced the same thing. I was on top of the gun right behind it when it happened on top of the Humvee. I was right behind it. You know,
shittiest front row seats ever, man.
Yeah,
you don't want to see shit like that, man. Like you just don't want to experience that. And unfortunately, we did. And it's important to definitely tell shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because other people did too. We weren't the only ones who experienced shit like that.
No, we
you know
was not. No,
maybe not under those circumstances, but we weren't the only ones.
From our unit there, has anybody talked to the guy that all happened with? I mean, is he okay? Is he
Yeah, no. I don't. He's kind of off the grid as far as social media is concerned. But he, last I heard, I mean, he was working through it. And it's been some years. I hope he's doing well. Tyree, are you in contact with him? Anything from him?
Years ago, and I've reached out to him multiple times. Some people, I can't explain why people do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in his shoes. I can't tell you how he feels about it. I've reached out to him. I had conversations years ago.
Yeah, I reached out
recently. Yeah, I hope he's all right too, man. Fucking, it's not an easy thing to deal with, but
it's not.
You got to deal with it.
Yeah, it's things that happen.
Well, and for people listening, for people listening, I would highly recommend reading these two books. And this ties into what we're talking about. There's two books. One is called On Killing, and the other one is called On Combat. They're written by retired Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. He was a psychologist. That was his degree. He was in the military, Ranger Tab, all that good stuff. And his On Combat, one of the things that he talks about, or On Killing, I'm sorry, in his first book, On Killing, he coins the term killology, which is the study of teaching people to kill other people. Because typically for a species, it's not within a species to kill its own. Like you'll see two rams butting heads over a female, right? They're not butting heads to kill each other. They're butting heads to prove who is the alpha. I mean, and that's just how the animal kingdom works. And as humans, we are a part of that animal kingdom. So it's not within us to naturally be able to kill another human. If you are capable of doing that just without any kind of training, by definition, you're a sociopath.
Yes.
And so we have the training. When we go to the ranges, we're shooting at silhouettes of humans. We're looking at that. So when we're in combat, we're in our sights, and what we're looking at is the silhouette of a human. We don't see the facial features usually.
Exactly. We're not seeing the soul of the person.
Right. We're just seeing what looks like the targets that we see in training. And so we're very easily able to pull that trigger. So one of the things that he talks about is guilt displacement, right? So if I'm the squad leader or the team leader and I tell a soldier to, hey, shoot that guy over there, and he shoots that guy, that soldier can say to himself, well, I pulled the trigger, but I was commanded to do so. So the guilt is
Right.
being displaced on the team leader or squad leader. And then the squad leader or whoever can say, well, yes, I gave the command to kill that person, but I didn't pull the trigger. So it's guilt displacement in both directions.
Right.
And both of those books kind of go into that. On Combat is more about the psychological and physiological effects of a high stress situation before, during, and after it happens. It's a beautiful book. That book actually taught me a lot about what I was experiencing and helped
I'm
me
going to
get
pick it
through.
up.
Yeah, it's a great book, dude. It really did, like, because the PTSD that I had, that I was dealing with, was a struggle to me. It was confusing to me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know why I was angry all the time. I didn't know why I needed to be constantly drunk or why I
Hey,
was awake all the time.
I stayed
Um,
angry all the time too. I didn't understand that.
yeah. That
Yeah.
book,
I mean,
that book dials it in, man. If you work in law enforcement, fire, EMT, military, any job that's like that, read that book, On Combat.
that's good to know. I got to read that.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Thank you.
And not to plug my state, but he is from Arkansas, Lieutenant Colonel Dave
Cool.
Grossman.
Hey, I go there every winter to duck hunt, baby. So
Where at? Where you
I
go?
love it. Down in Blythefield, up Stuttgart, a couple different places.
Well, no shit, man. You're hunting on my dad's
Yes,
land.
sir.
My dad's from Blytheville.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sweet, sweet.
I
Where
still
at in
got some.
Blytheville?
Oh hell, I don't remember, man. The way he tells it, it's all one big ass cotton patch. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah. When
All right.
That's pretty good.
So, what is life after the military for you now? What are you doing? What's been
Now
good?
what everything's been good now, man. Actually, fiance, I'm engaged now. We've been together for about 6 years,
woo, does
and
she? Hang on a second
Okay.
now. She said yes to you.
yeah, she said
All
yes
right,
to me.
all right. Hang
And
on a second. Now,
she's a
last
good
I
gal.
saw you, you got a beard going.
Oh man, I trimmed it a little bit, but it's getting even longer now.
Yeah, so she said
I got
yes to the beard, right?
and she said yes to the Viking hair. I got about 6 foot ponytail in the back of my head.
God, yes,
Right now,
hell
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
hell yeah, brother.
man, I was thinking
Well,
about growing my hair out. Give
hey,
me
hey,
some
I
dreadlocks or
said,
something.
fuck
into
shave
that,
it.
into that, I say skull.
Oh, I like
Mm-mm.
yes.
What else,
Oh,
man? So you're engaged?
yeah, man. We just recently working on a house, getting bought a house in 5.5 acres, getting it ready to go, man. Kind of redoing, flipping house. I like doing that stuff. I just kind of sit back and go down there, work on the house, be ready in about 6 weeks. We'll be moving in, and hopefully in another 5 years, be buying the 45 acres behind me. So I like to hunt and sit back and chill and just enjoy life now, man. I mean, that like I said, that the guy who set me down, the psychiatrist or whoever set me down and told me, we're gonna make it right with you. That's what he did for me, and it allowed me to do that. And that's my passion. That's my getaway. Because I
Yeah,
like to get out in the woods and I like to go hunt, man. I deer hunt a lot. I'm an avid hunter and I stay outside at all times. I fish and I still like to pull the trigger. I sit out here. I like to build certain things. I mean, that go boom boom, and I do that as a hobby a little bit. I buy
yeah,
parts and I build my own. So
yeah.
that's one of the big deal I do, and that's a release I have. Is I like to get out on the range and shoot. So
I was just going to ask you, what is it that you do to kind of maintain that peace of mind? Because
hunting.
you go back 10, 15 years ago and we were angry, right? At
Oh,
anything, at everything.
anything. Yes.
Um, my best friend said that she saw anger in me which she's never seen in another person before. She said she looked into my eyes and there was nobody there. She
Oh,
said and I have blue eyes. For those of you wondering, I have beautiful blue eyes. They're probably the best blue eyes you'll ever see. And she said she saw nothing but fucking black and anger. And I
black and
hate
angry.
that. I hate
That's
that,
hard to
right?
believe.
Because I'm
Yeah,
not an
that's
angry person.
yeah. You never
Um,
have. You never was. Gavin, never an angry person.
yeah, man. So to keep your peace, you get out there in nature, and there's a lot of science that backs that up, right?
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of science that backs it up, man. There's nothing more I have at peace than sitting back. I mean, I've got about 5, 6 guys that we got a little duck club, little hunting club going, and there's nothing like just sitting back in a duck blind or in a deer stand and just watching nature and God's country do its thing, man. It's
Hell
so
yeah.
beautiful. And that's my peace. That's my serenity and my peace, and that's what I get. That's what I get out of the way from. Get
Yeah.
off my head, and that's it. I release everything looking at that beautiful sunset coming over those trees or over that water every time.
Now,
And
hey, you
that's
said
my
sunset.
release.
I got you a question, man. Which is better, a sunset or a sunrise?
I'd have to say a morning duck hunt sunrise over the top of the water would probably be better. But I don't know. I did see the most beautiful sunset ever in Iraq, actually.
Man,
I think that depends on where you live, man. Because
Yeah,
personally,
a
I
lot
would
of that
prefer a
depends.
sunset over a city. It looks cool to me.
true. That's a good point. That's a valid point. I've never considered that. I'm a sunrise kind of person, which is ironic to me because I hate waking up early. But the
Mhm.
sunrise to me, and so to me, sunrise and sunset, it has this like external beauty about it, right? Like this, what you're visually seeing in front of you, right? The sun rising
Hmm.
over the horizon, starting the new day. You got the fog or the dew and all of that. But then the sunset, you know what I'm saying? The cool of the night starts to set in. And you've got all the dust particles in the air, so it makes the sky just light up into these beautiful colors. And it's the end of the day. On a philosophical level, I mean, you could look at it as like, a sunrise is I woke up to another beautiful day and I get to exist for one more day, which when we were
Right.
living in Iraq or when when you were in Afghanistan, that was a lot. That was everything, right? Like I get to see another day.
Right.
When the sun sets on the philosophical level is like, okay, day complete. All right. We'll see what tomorrow brings. So to me, I definitely think that like sunrises are where it's at for me. Um, just
Hell
just
no,
just both of
man.
those, in mind. But
Either
Because the
one's
kind of
great for
person
me.
I am, like maybe back in the day when I was angry, a sunrise is like the start of some bullshit.
oh
A
yeah,
sunset is the end of some bullshit.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's
you were
just a
also a
fun
cop for
cycle. That's
13
how I
years.
felt back then. That's how. What's that?
Yeah.
And you were also a cop for 13 years, so I mean, it has a lot
Oh
to do with
man,
that. I bet
yeah.
you.
It's
Yeah. How was that experience, by the way, in LAPD? Whoop,
yeah.
whoop.
It was different. I
I bet it
enjoyed it. I had
was.
fun. Like I said, I did it for 13 years. I worked patrol. I worked on Skid Row for a long time.
Mm.
Oh
I
wow,
worked
that's
domestic
fun.
violence for a long time. Worked a bunch of different divisions. I had fun. If I had my way to do things differently, I would not do it exactly how I did it. And
Right.
that's life.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
life.
enjoyed it
That's
though,
cool
man. It
though.
was it was
That's good.
I'd have stories for days and days
That's
on the
awesome. That's
shit that
cool.
I've done with them. It's the same kind of feeling I get from some of the things I've done with you guys. It's the same
Right.
kind of
Right.
feeling I get with the police, except clearly not as brutal on my end, but
Right.
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 you
Now,
still see some
Tyree,
pretty brutal shit.
yeah, you were on the force with some blue spaders, weren't you?
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah, a couple
really?
yeah, there
That's
was a
guys.
couple
awesome.
guys.
No, they
I'm
weren't. They
not gonna
weren't
name them.
Bravo.
I'm not gonna name any of them because they're still out there in the streets, and
Yeah. Well, right, for
No,
sure, for
no,
sure.
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
That
So
was
so
awesome.
so today, I mean, you're out there working on the house and out in the woods doing the thing. Now, I gotta ask you. So, as far as hunting goes, what's your preference? What do you like to hunt?
No, my preference would be duck hunting. I
Yeah,
deer hunt and duck hunt a lot. Yeah, that's my main two.
I ain't never been duck hunting. I went squirrel hunting once.
Oh really?
So here's the thing, man. I'm
You're from Arkansas and you never been duck hunting. I don't understand
man. You're about to be so mad at me because I did not grow up fishing. I did not grow up hunting. We went fishing a couple times. My biggest fish was like fucking 3 inches long, a little sunfish. Um,
that.
the most fish I ever caught in my life was just like a month and a half ago. With some trot lines, we caught 15 catfish.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time for me to ever fucking skin and clean a fish too. At
Oh
39
wow.
years old, yeah, it's pretty terrible. But when it comes to hunting, when it comes to being behind a rifle and shooting an animal, I have had. I'm a big animal lover, so it's been difficult. It's been
Right.
difficult for me
I
to do
understand
that.
that.
Which and people kind of find that kind of funny, and I do too, right? Because when I was in Iraq, I had zero problems pulling the trigger, right? Because
Right.
fuck it, you know what I mean? You're a human. You've decided to do what you're about to do. Animals
Yeah,
just
I mean
out there
that's
doing animal shit.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I understand. There's a lot of people that way, which that's a release for me though. It kind of relieves back to, I guess, it reminded me of time in pulling trigger. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it lets me do, and it's a relief for me. As oddly as that may seem, and then some folks may label me a sociopath right now, which is fine with me. I don't care. But
Yeah.
I
Man,
mean,
that's what I was gonna
that
say, man. What did Bambi do to you? Damn it! Why don't you
hey,
Yeah.
take a
Bambi is
camera and
good in
shoot some pictures? How about that?
Hey,
Bambi is good in my tummy.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, deer meat is the way to go. So I am going deer hunting this year. I've got my optics dialed in. I'm just waiting for my alarm to say, "Hey, it's deer season. Let's go."
It's deer
Um,
season. That's awesome.
yeah, I've been trying to go the last couple of years, but every time I get set up to go hunting on somebody's land, they always fall through. So I'm just going out into the Ozark National Forest and hoping and praying or whatever the shit that I don't get shot by some drunk ass hunter.
Be careful in the public hunt lands.
Hell yeah,
That's what I'd
man.
be
Well,
afraid of, really, when it comes down
Kevin,
to hunting. Is
if you
the
ever really want to go, you need to come down to Tennessee to hear me. I've got 200 acres of deer farm that I manage and hunt on, and I've been
Okay,
managing to
all
hunt
right then,
for 8 years. I've got more deer than you could ever dream of.
there you go,
man.
road trip.
That might be a thing. Hell yeah.
Come on, brother. I'll take you anytime. Anytime you want to duck hunting, I'll meet you up in Arkansas. I'll take you duck hunting too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've never been. Like I said, I went squirrel hunting once. So when I was a kid, I got bit by a squirrel, and I've had a little vendetta against squirrels the whole time. This
I would
motherfucker
too.
bit my finger and hung on for dear life. I had blood spurting out of my damn finger. It was terrible.
Oh,
Yeah. So ever since then, man, like it's just been
Leaking
like
like
on.
OJ.
Yeah, dude. So it's been on against squirrels, man. I shot 2 squirrels. One fell into the hollow of a tree, couldn't retrieve it. The other one fell from the branch it was on into this thicket, you know what I'm saying, that I couldn't get into. It was
yeah.
like, son of a bitch, man. But you know what? That's 2 squirrels to terrorize people. That's how I saw it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But that's awesome. That's awesome. But that's pretty much what I do after life in the military now, man. And I mean, I love it. That's my serenity just to get through things. But like I said, I think most of it to help me get through things, through everything, is still talking about it. What
Yeah.
y'all have created here is podcasts. Listen to stories. I love that. That's that releases so much just to hear it and talk about it.
Man, that's awesome. That literally made my nipples hard. You know what I mean?
Oh, Johnson, don't get us
Yeah.
started.
You know what's
yeah.
wild though? You know what's really wild?
What's
that? We have it's episode 6. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? That's almost in some cases almost damn near 12 hours of us talking. 12 hours. We haven't even scratched the surface of the deep shit that we've done.
No,
there's so many
not at
fights
all.
that we haven't even gotten into.
So many. No.
Yeah.
I mean, we've touched the outside of couple different ones, and that's it.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
Man. It's I remember, speaking of fights, I remember one time it was our command team. We had been hit at one point in time, one night before, and Captain Rockefeller and the first sergeant wanted to go out to where we had been hit at, and they just didn't want no Bradleys, didn't want to scare nobody, just wanted the command team to go out in the Humvees, and we took off on a mission out, and he just wanted to go talk to the homeowners and assess the damage, because as a command team gunner and as the headquarters squad there, we used to drive to the crit like once a week, every 14 days or so, and we'd pick up log pack for you guys sometimes when we could from their defects, if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
Thank y'all to me. That's all thanks to me. Thank y'all, because I raised hell with Captain Rock to get that. But
appreciate it. Much appreciated.
But at the times, we would go up there and sign for $1 million from division at every 10 days or so, and come back with it, and all the damage we've done to them. That's money we poured out in them communities.
And that's something people don't hear about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they know that we were over there fighting, right? And that's, I think all these anti-war folks, that's one thing they're mad about, right? It's like over there destroying their country, destroying their buildings, killing their people, but like we weren't doing it. We weren't doing it intentionally. We weren't intentionally destroying buildings. We weren't intentionally killing people. I mean, bad people. We were definitely intentionally killing those motherfuckers. Fuck every one of them. But like, we were trying to help. Do you remember? We would go out and buy. We went to a shop and we bought out all of the fucking kids' shoes that they had and handed them out to local kids. just
All
so
of
that
them,
they could
yes.
have shoots. We
I remember
found
that.
these kids out there playing fucking soccer. We went and bought. They were playing soccer with a flat soccer ball. We went and bought a bag of soccer balls for them.
I remember
You know
that.
what I mean? This was
Yep.
because, I mean, it was the hearts and minds tour, right? That's what I like to refer to it as. We were trying to show these people that, yeah, I mean, you can call us infidel because we don't believe the same way you believe, but like, we want to help. We don't want to
Yes.
kill. We want to kill bad people. We want to get the bad
Well-
people out of it. We don't want to destroy your buildings. We don't want to kill you. We want
Right.
to do good by you. And I hope that message was relayed to some of them.
Surely some of them it
I
was.
did
I
get
mean,
that, but I mean, please understand 100%. Like, yeah, we're there for hearts and minds, but cross that line and it's over. Game's
Right.
done.
yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
it goes
no
both
doubt.
ways. When you say hearts and minds, like we're there to win the hearts and minds of people, but when shit goes south, we're also there to destroy the hearts and minds of the bad people. We are going to fucking cut out your heart all
Obliterate
over
you.
that street. Because
Yes.
we'll fight with compassion and with no remorse.
And speaking on the psychological part, do y'all remember them showing us that video of the Taliban in their training camp before our
Yes.
deployment?
Yes,
When
absolutely.
they were like doing cartwheels and shit in the middle of the fucking wilderness,
Or
that.
sliding, going
that
down
wild
slides
dog
and
to
shit,
come running through?
Yeah.
swinging on swings.
Oh man,
I remember them showing us the video of the contractor getting his head cut off.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like really,
remember that.
no wonder you want to piss us off. This is, and come to think about it, you're still on the trail there, Kevin.
Yeah.
That's part of basic training. I didn't understand it at that point, and I do now. That's their whole point of breaking you down and putting you in that mentality in infantry school.
You're right.
That's what you're going to be doing. So you have to get in that mentality. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
We've seen, and y'all have heard of it. I mean, a couple of the strongest men that you ever thought would never crack in your life crack.
Yeah.
And
We
you
all
got to
do.
be mentally tough.
We all do.
we all do. You got to be mentally tough to be able to
I
pull
don't care
yourself back
how
out of it, and it
alpha-
takes help.
Yeah, I don't care how alpha you think you are, how big and bad you think you are. We all crack, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. You
It's
need
all
to.
a part of it.
Yeah.
It makes you are what you are.
You
are
I
what
still
you
break
are.
down over it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh
yeah,
yes,
I think it's
sure.
shit that is makes me think like, man, that's incredible. But again, that builds you up to what you are, and you are what you are, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean,
ain't nothing wrong with it.
No, not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all.
The issue is not talking about it and holding that shit in, and then you go smack somebody
That's what
up,
builds the anger.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
exactly.
The
I mean,
Hey, you're
I
exactly
get
right.
anger at the stupidest shit. I mean, the woman, the love of my life, I finally found my better half. Sitting in that living room right now, she's put up with the first 2 years we got together. We was still, this was up till, I mean, just 4 years ago. I finally got out to where I'm able to relieve my stress and calm down and not let everything anger me. And she put up with a lot for me from 2 years that this girl didn't have to. And it's, I'm thankful to God that she stayed around for.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Milton. Shout out to wives, man. My wife, we've been together
a lot of
for
them got to put
16
through a
years.
lot. Mm-hmm.
Damn, 16 years already?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Damn.
We're married for 13.
Oh, you better
14,
remember that.
But,
you better remember that.
Going on 14, but yeah, been together for 16. So
dang,
it ain't easy, man. Like she deals with a
easy.
lot of shit because I dealt with a lot of shit, and
on the military side and the cop side, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
No shit.
It's a lot to deal with, man. Like
I
I've
bet
been
it's
there.
commends to your wife for that. That's a strong woman,
man.
Yeah.
She dealt with a lot, man. I was the person punching walls and fucking screaming because I couldn't communicate properly, and it's still a struggle sometimes. It's always a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like that's the boat that I found myself in, and here I am. I mean, I got my 2 dogs; they get me.
They're awesome.
It is what it is, though, man. I mean,
yeah,
but no, and that's the other thing, man, is I'm glad that here we are all these years later, and we're not, we have all of the people for the most part, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to say this. Like, I'm just glad that those of us who are still here are still here. And
Yes,
I'm fucking
sure.
like, when you talk about Billy, I don't know if y'all know this, but like, Billy's last few years on this earth were bad. We're troubled. He got in trouble in Tulsa, pulling a gun in a club, arrested, all that stuff. And I hate the fact that I can Google his name, and one of the only photos that comes up is his mugshot, and he just
Oh,
he looks miserable, man. Yeah, and I hate that, dude, because that's not Billy Jack.
no, that wasn't Billy Jack.
And I hate that he had to be on the meds that he had to be on, and I hate that those meds led to where he currently is now. But
Right.
And with me not being a religious person, all I can say is that, like, I truly hope that he is in a better place. I know he is, because
Yes,
I know
he's got
his spirit. We know Billy's spirit, and we know that Billy is definitely out there fucking raising hell.
dancing over fire somewhere.
Hell yeah, man. Fucking living it up.
We
man.
love you, Billy
And
Jack.
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Fucking miss that guy every day. I wear 2 memorial bracelets on my left arm, Billy Jack and Chris Messer. And people ask me all the time, I don't know if I should ask about those. And I tell people, no, that's absolutely why we wear them. We wear them to keep their names alive, to remember
their honor,
them.
to memorize their honor. To
yeah,
make
man.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's what they're there for. So definitely, when people listening, if you see people wearing those, I mean, politely ask, "Hey, are those friends of yours? Do you mind telling me about them?" We want that, man.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep their names alive.
Don't let the fucking stories of your friends go away with you when you go. Like,
absolutely,
you need to tell those fucking stories. Everybody needs to hear those stories, because the more you talk about it, the more they stay alive. They continue to live on.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the. Have you ever heard of the 3 deaths?
No, what is that?
So the 3 deaths, right? The first one is when you learn and understand that one day you will die, right? So that's the first one. The second death is the day you actually die. And then the third death is when the memory of you dies. So the last person that knew anything about you on this planet, when they pass away, and you're completely forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Not today, baby. We on this motherfucking podcast
forever. We still here.
Yeah.
And on that note,
man.
We're going to end this show. Thank you so much, Richard, for fucking coming on, man. It was fucking really good to talk to you.
It was great to talk to you, gentlemen. Anytime, man. Anytime you want to. We've got a lot more we could talk about. So we touched scratch surfaces today. So, like you said, keep it going forever, man, and we can keep telling stories forever, bro.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
I'll get on here anytime we want to do it. So anytime y'all want to invite me, just give me a holler. Not a problem.
Right on. So everyone listening, please like, share, and subscribe. I can't stress share enough. We have questions on these podcasts, so you can answer them. So if we need things that we need to improve on, please tell us so we can make it better.
Yeah, improvements. If you have questions about things that we've talked about, all of that stuff, man. Like, just, interact with us. We love it. Like, I don't know if y'all look at the Facebook page. If there's a comment, a post, or something, we interact. We're there.
Yeah. And then again, military, veteran family, stay with us. Keep talking to us. Keep it out. Keep it going, and let's not stop it. Let's help everybody. Help each other out. So, and gentlemen, great to talk to y'all.
Hey, man, it was nice to talk to you. Love you, brother.
Love you,
man.
kids.
Hell yeah, man.
Y'all be good. All right, gentlemen.
Take care of yourself.
Take care.
All right, and listeners, thanks for listening in, and y'all have a good day or night or whatever it is you're listening to this.
So long.
So long. Peace out.
Later.
The end.